right now we have breaking news. President Trump declaring a national emergency over threats by Cuba.
The president claimed the policies and practices of the Cuban government are an extraordinary threat to U.S. security.
Most of the media outlets who cover Cuba, who report on Cuba, they do it from the outside.
We've traveled to Havana, where many go without power.
They do maybe spend a week in Cuba and they go back thinking that they really understand what is going on here. You're in the ground, working inside of Cuba, telling the story of the Cubans and trying to visualize the stories that you can find anywhere else.
Eli Malik Reyes is the only trans athlete to be officially recognized for the Cuban Sports League. The path wasn't easy.
Belly of the Beast is a name that provoked different kind of reactions in people. For some people, the beast is the US government. Some people, the beast is Cuban government. For some people, the beast is the sanctions. Some people, the beast is capitalism. For us, to name it in that way is just try to visualize that we are working from inside. One of the goals of the sanctions is trying to defund the government, trying to defund the public sector. At the same time, they are putting money in the private sector here in Cuba. The problem is that the private sector don't pay for the trash collection, don't pay for education, don't pay for health care. Belly of the Beast, like other media outlets that are also working inside of Cuba, they need to prepare to be able to work in the middle of these blackouts. The critical thing right now in Cuba is to have access to electricity. And the way to have access to electricity is just this battery storage that they sell. And if you have enough money in Cuba, you can buy them in a private store. In some way, that's also create a bubble because at work we have electricity, but then we come back home and the reality hit us. You are living under dark conditions. You are also reporting that conditions. It is kind of a cycle that never ends. We are here on the streets of Havana to ask Cubans how they feel after Trump's latest announcement.
Porque lo que no pueden perdonarnos los imperialistas es que estemos aquí y que hayamos hecho una revolución socialista en las propias narices de los Estados Unidos.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out.
Suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men.
Everybody knows that Marco Rubio's parents are from Cuba, but for me it's really difficult to connect to someone who actually are doing the best he can in order to make the people in Cuba suffer. Because everybody knows that sanctions only affecting the people in Cuba, the ordinary Cubans. So how you can do that and at the same time saying that you love the country, that you love the people inside of the country?
La verdadera razón por la que no tienen electricidad, combustible ni alimentos es porque quienes controlan su país han saqueado miles de millones de dólares, pero nada ha sido utilizado para ayudar al pueblo.
I think that he was trying to send a message to the Cubans who live in Cuba. And that's why he did it in Spanish. He go out of the streets and did interviews. The most of the people that we interviewed, they haven't seen the video.
¿Usted ha visto el video, el mensaje que subió el secretario de Estado de los Estados Unidos, Marco Rubio?
No, realmente no.
Es que Marco Rubio lo desprecio tanto que no vale la pena ni oír nada de lo que dice.
Ahora, ¿usted cree que le pueda mostrar el video un momentico y usted me dice qué le parece?
La razón por la que se ven obligados a sobrevivir 22 horas al día sin electricidad no se debe a un bloqueo petrolero por parte de Estados Unidos.
Si Marcos Rubio él no tiene ni sentido de lo que es patria.
Most of the times, Cubans are just trying to going through the day. They don't have time to spend on social media. Also, they probably don't have enough charge in the phones because the blackouts can last forever. So they are not really paying attention when U.S. politicians are talking to Cubans.
There's no oil blockade on Cuba per se. Here's what's happening with Cuba, okay? Cuba used to get free oil from Venezuela. So the only blockade that's happened is the Venezuelans have decided we're not giving you free oil anymore.
Marco Rubio is saying that it's not such a thing like an oil blockade in Cuba in a room full of journalists, and no one is saying like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? No one is doing a following question to that. If no one is doing that job, we think that it's our responsibility to do that job. And so far, we have been exhausted because so many lies, so many misinformation has been spread that, for example, everyone is repeating that Cuba is a threat to the United States national security.
Communist Cuba, which has been a deadly threat.
But this is also about America's national security. We know, right, that they have allowed terrorists to operate.
We are giving to people context. We are not just repeating opinions. We are not doing propaganda. Our job is presenting facts. Maybe you disagree with our videos, but you can say that we are lying or we are omitting. I think that there is a huge gap between the people who were alive before 1959 revolution and after. For my grandma, the experience that they have about Cuba and about capitalism is pretty different from the experience that people from my generation are expecting. But I think like the main thing that makes both generations comes together is being hidden crisis after crisis. It's Saturday afternoon, and as you see, the streets are empty. Nothing is happening. Cuba used to be different, but it was also when the first administration of Donald Trump started to screw the sanctions on Cuba. We haven't been able to come back to the joy. We don't have the solutions in our own hands. We can manage that. So people get frustrated. Young people get frustrated. And the cherry on the top of that, it's really difficult to escape a propaganda machine that is coming from everywhere. They have three narratives. The first one is that Cuban government is the guilty one. Whatever is happening in Cuba, if you're suffering, it's because of the Cuban government.
Cuba for 67 years has been a communist dictatorship.
The second one is like Cuba itself is the failed state.
Cuba's in terrible shape for the simple reason that its economy, like all such communist or socialist economies, has failed utterly.
And the third point is like, United States, we are the good guys. We want to save you guys. You're gonna have freedom.
What would a prosperous, successful Cuba mean for the American people?
I envision a free Cuba as kind of like the Israel of this hemisphere.
The best way to keep independent editorial is not accepting money, not from the Cuban government, not from the US government. We just receive donations from individuals through Patreon, and we also do production services. So that's the way that we trying to fund our journalism.
Thanks for watching. Leave us a like or a comment to let us know what you thought about anything we covered this week. The links to our social media and our newsletter are in the description. That's where you can follow us for updates from the show.